Hello, in the previous video I introduced you to chapter 1 of my book, Value Me, Benefits of Being a Highly Sensitive Professional. And I hope that as a result you have made a commitment to learning more about yourself. In this video we're moving on to chapter 2 in the book, which is Value Yourself and Your HSP Traits. And as I mentioned before, this information really applies to everyone, whether you're highly sensitive or not, but it is particularly important if you are highly sensitive. Now we are on page 13 of the book, and let me just read you a few paragraphs. We talked about the importance of self-awareness. This includes identifying your particular HSP traits and what makes you unique. Once you know what they are, it's important to learn how to accept them and then value them. You must learn to value everything about yourself. I know this can be a challenge sometimes because many HSP traits can be difficult to deal with, but there is also a great deal to celebrate about being highly sensitive. If you want other people to value you, then you first have to value yourself. Identify what makes you unique and own your uniqueness. Instead of seeing your traits as weaknesses, learn to see them as strengths. When you see them as strengths, then others will too. This really is crucial. If you buy into the belief that there's something wrong with you and that you should be anything other than you are, or if you focus more on the challenges associated with being highly sensitive rather than the gifts and strengths that go along with the trait, then you'll find that others won't value and appreciate you either. So many people don't value themselves, and I certainly didn't used to know how to value myself. People who are highly sensitive often particularly don't value themselves because, well, so often they've been made to feel that there's something wrong with them. They've been told, oh, you're too sensitive, or stop taking things so personally. And when you constantly hear those types of messages, particularly when you're growing up, well, you can't help but believe, well, that there must be something wrong with you. I've worked with many people who are highly sensitive, and they have no idea what they're capable of, how much they accomplish, or how amazing they are. They tend to be so hard on themselves and never think they're doing enough, when the truth is they're usually doing more than anybody else, and they have abilities that come so naturally to them that they think everyone has the same ability. And as I talk about this, there is one client in particular who comes to mind that I want to tell you about, and I'll call her Sue because I don't want to violate her privacy by sharing her real name. Now, she joined one of my programs, and she was very hesitant at first because everyone else in the program was a professional. They either had a career or their own business. And she is a stay-at-home mother of 4 children. She felt very intimidated by what she saw as the success of everyone else, and she thought perhaps she didn't belong with the group. And I remember during our first meeting, which was a phone call, she was the last person to introduce herself, and after listening to all the others talk about the work they did and what their goals were, she said, I'm not sure if I should be here because I'm not successful like everyone else. I don't have a job. I'm just a stay-at-home mother. My life is not interesting or exciting. There are things I want to do, but I don't know if I'm capable of doing them. Now, I felt right at the beginning that she did belong, and I thought that it took a lot of courage for her to show up even when she was concerned that she wasn't as good or successful as everyone else. So I encouraged her to at least give it a try. Now, in the beginning at the meetings, she really couldn't see that she had anything to offer. She felt she had no skills, she had really no self-confidence at all. And all of this came from the belief that she wasn't good enough, which was based on how she was treated by her family. And during one of our phone calls, she told us that her family was coming to stay for a visit of 2 weeks, and she was absolutely dreading it. And I think this particular family visit was quite a turning point for her, because what we in the group helped her to see was that she didn't have to let them criticize or intimidate her anymore. She didn't have to let them push her around as they had done in the past. You know, she is such a natural born leader that we were able to encourage her to decide how she wanted the visit to go and then to allow that to happen. The key phrase for her was to take the lead. She saw that she could, in fact, take the lead in whatever situation was happening so that it could turn out to be a positive experience for her. So she did that with this family visit, and she said afterwards that she just couldn't believe it. She had set the intention before they even came that she was going to enjoy this visit because she was going to take the lead in deciding how it would go, what they would do, and so on. And it went beautifully. She actually did enjoy the visit, and this was a real boost to her confidence. This was a big turning point. And there have been many, many other instances like that for her, but I think that was the first. So what I could see and what the other participants in the program could see was that she had amazing gifts and abilities. For example, she is a tremendous organizer, and with 4 children, I think she has to be. We saw how creative she is, how organized she is, and how whatever she put her mind to, whenever she put her mind to something, no matter how difficult it might be, she seemed to be able to pull it off with ease. So like the time they had to move, they were actually moving to another country because her husband's job required it. And he was already there. So she had no support from him, and she had about 2 weeks' notice to make this huge move. Her youngest children didn't even have passports, and she was told that they would be impossible to get in such a short time. But you know what? She did it. She arranged everything that she needed to. She had all their belongings packed up and ready to ship, and she succeeded in getting the passports and visas that were needed, all in that short time. And then she flew with all four children and then got them settled in a new home in a new country. And as she was telling us this, we were all in awe of what she had accomplished. And she didn't really think she had accomplished anything much. Now, I have lived in other countries. I'm living in another country now from where I grew up. I have moved also from state to state, and I could not imagine pulling that off in such a short time, just with me and my husband, let alone with 4 children. So I'm happy to say now that she has made so much progress in learning how to value herself that she continues to be a huge inspiration to everyone else. And whereas before she thought she had no skills and was afraid to put herself out in front of people, she's now volunteering to be on a school committee. She is such a great organizer that people come to her to ask for help with planning and organizing school events. And she's also teaching yoga classes. In the beginning, she absolutely could not see her value. Now she can. And I can only sum it up in her own words to me the last time we spoke. She was sharing some of the things that she was doing, and she said to me, "I feel like I'm on fire. Things are going so well." You know, she is on fire because she has learned who she is and she's learned how to value herself. I like to use the phrase going from stuck to unstoppable, and that is exactly what this is. When you don't value yourself, you stay stuck in negativity with no confidence, being pulled around by other people, doing things you don't really want to do. When you value yourself, then just like Sue, you start to take the lead in your own life, and you see that you don't have to tolerate things that don't feel good anymore. Knowing yourself is the first step. Accepting who you are is the second, and then learning how to really value yourself and what you bring. You know, we all want and deserve to be valued for who we are, and other people will value you when you are able to value yourself. Learning to value yourself is one of the most important things you can do. And of course, if you would like to read the book, it is available on Amazon. Until next time.